It's early morning, and this man is reporting for work like millions of other men. If you ask the average person, what work does this man do? They'd say that's easy. He's a bus operator. Well, it's true that he operates a bus. The uniform he wears is a symbol of his authority, his command of the vehicle. But merely operating the bus is not really what he's paid to do. Actually, this man is a salesman. His place of business happens to be a transit system coach. His front office is the driver's seat. His cash register is the fare box. And what he has for sale is an extremely valuable item, an essential item. He sells service, safe, courteous service. His customers are passengers. Through his skill and his friendly, helpful attitude, he makes his service a very valuable item. The bus operator's function is the same in all parts of the country, east or west, north or south. You can look in on a bus operator any place, and the picture is very much the same. The operator also wears the uniform of authority over a public vehicle. He drives a bus. But the real essence of his work is salesmanship. The transit company he works for must make sales to stay in business. Sales are the lifeblood of any company, in any type of business. The patron pays for a product or a service. The purchase of a ticket may represent many different kinds of sales. But the principles of salesmanship are still the same. A pleasant greeting, a friendly attitude, courteous service are the hallmarks of the skillful salesperson. Any employee who deals with the public is a salesperson. He probably has a number of duties, but any time he's in contact with his company's customers, salesmanship is his main duty. Making the customer feel welcome, making him want to patronize the company's service again, is the employee's main job. It doesn't matter what the customer buys. It may be a ticket of admission of one type or another, or it may be a product, one of the thousands of things that people buy. The fact that people buy what a company has to offer is what keeps the company in business. And a sale is really successful only when the customer is pleased with it. It's the job of the company representative to make sure the customer is pleased. That's the real job of a bus operator. He's the only bus company representative to meet the public face to face. As far as the public is concerned, he is the bus company. One of the things a skilled salesman is very careful about is his personal appearance. In any business, it's the neat, attractive-looking salesman who makes the best impression on customers. This is true anywhere. Customers anywhere are pleased by a salesman's neat, trim appearance. Good personal appearance also has a morale-building effect on you yourself. It gives you more self-confidence and self-esteem. Of course, the appearance of your place of business is important too. An attractive, well-maintained vehicle lets the customers know you're glad to have them aboard. Some people ride with a bus company because they have no other choice. But most riders do have other choices of transportation. That's why the operator's selling job is so important. The way he handles his job can win customers for the company, or lose them. Why do shoppers choose one place of business over another? How do they make up their mind? Another way to ask the question is, why do businesses lose customers? Some reasons are lower prices elsewhere, competitive advertising, bad customer service, unadjusted complaints. Customers move away, A recent survey brought out that the most important factor is bad customer service. This is the reason given by 68% of the customers who cease to patronize a particular company. In other words, courteous service on the part of the salesman is the most important element in winning and keeping customers. What is courtesy? Courtesy is an attitude of respect toward customers. Courtesy is attentiveness to their needs, an attitude of friendly, cooperative interest. Courteous service means safe, smooth operation of the vehicle. Passengers are uneasy with an operator who hot rods, takes off and slams on his brakes like a dragster. Standees are particularly sensitive. The courteous, skillful operator is considerate of his standees, especially when operating around sharp turns. Courtesy and consideration mean keeping the schedule. The passenger who is left waiting because an operator was running hot and got ahead of schedule, well, this passenger has a right to be annoyed. Next time, she might find another way to get downtown. In fact, she may decide to find other means of transportation this time. Every lost customer, every lost ride, makes the bus operator's job less secure. Customers like to buy a quality product. A transit company tries to sell quality. A quality ride is a safe, comfortable ride, on schedule. Quality service starts and ends in the personal attitude of the bus operator himself. A good salesman sells people on the fact that he's a good man to do business with.
We have our problems, though. It's not easy to keep everybody satisfied. Some passengers are pretty hard to handle. They'll get on the bus in a bad mood and try to start an argument. Well, it takes two to make an argument. If the operator maintains a pleasant manner, the passenger usually calms down. A smile goes a long way.
Well, people are pretty much the same wherever you go. Most of them are pleasant and decent, but sometimes you get a few crabby ones, like the type that forgets to ring the buzzer, and when you pass their stop, they get mad and blame it on you. Or sometimes, when the bus is crowded, they wait at the rear door and expect you to see them. Every operator has to handle a lot of problem situations.
A good part of the operator's job is to look ahead and try to avoid situations where the passengers have a complaint. It's helpful to call the stops, and especially the transfer points. That way you wake up the passenger who isn't paying attention to where he is. Another thing is not to rush people. Passengers get annoyed if the operator tries to hustle them along when they're boarding or alighting.
Yes, passengers are made up of all kinds of people, just like bus operators themselves. The golden rule is still the best guide for handling people. Treat others as you'd like to be treated. And that goes for other drivers as well as passengers. Traffic in most communities is heavier than ever today, the more pressure on drivers and greater risks. Of course, there are some inconsiderate drivers. They seem to expect the bus operator to drive up on the sidewalk so they can get by. Cooperation among all drivers is essential for the safety of all. The professional bus operator refuses to get rattled in traffic. He keeps in mind that the automobile drivers around him may be his passengers tomorrow. And he keeps in mind that his passengers feel more secure with a driver who keeps his head and remains calm under all circumstances.
People do appreciate good service. Lots of times they tell us so. In fact, they sometimes write letters about it. But on the other hand, they sometimes give us problems, and we have to be ready to handle them. For instance, the person who gets on and walks past the fare box without paying. Now, this is a delicate situation. You don't want to offend the person. Maybe they don't know the company rules, or they want to put their bundles down. So you always take the courteous approach. I beg your pardon, I believe I failed to get your fare. In other words, you never accuse them of anything, or make them feel under suspicion. I always try to make it sound like it was all my fault. It's very important to avoid embarrassing the passenger when he makes some mistake. Never criticize him in front of other passengers. Like the passenger who puts the wrong fare in the box. This can be annoying to the operator if he's busy. You feel the passenger ought to know better, ought to be more careful. You don't like to be bothered with the refund slip.
However, you have to remember that the passenger is embarrassed over her mistake. If you say anything to make her feel worse, she'll resent it.
Another time when you have to be tactful is when the passenger presents an old transfer. You have to handle the situation just right and avoid offense. I'm sorry, sir. This transfer has expired. Would you see if you have another one in your pocket? In other words, you don't accuse him of trying to get away with something. You make it sound like they made a natural mistake.
One of the major duties of any salesman is to be informative. Customers often have questions to be answered. A skilled and courteous operator tries to sharpen his knowledge of his community. He tries to know the places of interest, as well as the company's services. Being able to provide accurate information and being willing to do it pleasantly is good salesmanship. As we said, passengers can be irritating at times. There's the man who gets on in the middle of the rush hour and hands you a large bill. Sometimes you ask people again and again to move to the rear of the bus, and, well, you might as well save your breath. There's the type of passenger who drops a handful of change all over the floor. Of course, sometimes it's very easy not to be annoyed. Sometimes it's a pleasure to be of assistance. And sometimes passengers do move back into the bus. And even the man with a large bill, he's probably embarrassed about it. And he'll appreciate it if you take it in your stride. Every minute of the time, the skilled bus operator is selling. He's selling himself, his company, his service. He's selling future rides on his bus. A neat appearance, an agreeable manner, a smile, a pleasant greeting, a courteous, helpful attitude, the ability and willingness to be informative. That's salesmanship. Make use of the phrases and expressions of courtesy at every opportunity.
Thank you. Please.
I'm sorry.
Courteous service will increase your business. Make your job more secure. When your service is valued in your community, when you help your company to be admired and respected, you gain in stature and in the personal satisfaction you derive from doing a worthwhile job. The whole community knows you. The whole community sees you every day. It's up to you to give them reason to be proud of you.